Brother, you know, you and I both love the fight game. So I've been thinking a lot about the fight game uh lately. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get myself in better cardiovascular shape. Been watching a lot of fights from Floyd, Ali, uh checked out Larry Holmes versus Ken Norton again the other day.
Nice, nice.
Checked out some Larry Holmes versus Evander Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? So really been just going back through it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen all these fights before, but just got me thinking about the history of the game. And so I was thinking about the current king, Tyson Fury,
Yeah,
and where he stands already. Like I haven't seen an updated ranking to start to see if people are starting to put him as a top 10 heavyweight of all time or things of that nature. Uh, so it got me thinking, like, what does he have to do going forward, possibly,
yeah,
to get himself in those discussions, to get himself uh, named in the same sentence as the guy who I hold as the greatest heavyweight of all time, arguably the greatest
all
boxer
times.
of all times. That is Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
We're talking about a guy that's undefeated, Caesar.
I get it.
We're talking about a guy who's 6'9", Caesar. Talk about a guy who uh knocked off the previous guy,
Yeah,
the guy who was running the era for how long that Klitschko boy was reigning, you think?
it felt like a couple of decades,
That
but
would that would have felt like.
yeah, but I mean, it was close to it though. Seriously, it was close to a decade. So
You know what
in
I'm
that
saying?
in that regard, that's some Lennox Lewis, Joe Lewis type stuff. We just want to be real about it. When you hold a title for that long, that's a huge feat.
Klitschko boy, man.
Yeah, man.
See, like we have been taught them Klitschko boys going all the way back. If not to our last years of high school, I know when we was in
Seriously.
college, them
Yeah.
Klitschko boys were already on it.
They
And
had a huge
and
grip.
and Tyson was in there playing with Cub. You know what I'm saying? Taunting them and stuff.
Yeah.
He got a classic fight on his resume now with the third Wilder fight. Some people call it a classic trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna give it that just because the first two fights, in my opinion, weren't close. The first one wasn't close either.
Yeah.
But you know, some people call it a classic trilogy.
And you've been on record from the jump as saying where, the rest of us was like, um, the first fight could have gone either way. You've been on the record saying, nah, man, those three fights have been fury all day long.
Oh, it was sad. It was
Yeah.
sad that first fight. Like I was
Yeah.
like, my God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But then I thought Deontay had him when he caught him with that combo.
Yeah.
But then that boy rolls up like the Undertaker, as everybody knows.
He
You know what
did.
I'm saying? And
He
then
did.
so he got that, and he has an opportunity to unify the titles if he can get this fight with Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, well, Mr. Usyk, yeah.
Which I don't know. I think he gonna do it like a return bout with old boy first, though, right?
Yeah, he's
They
he's
have the
trying
title.
to he's trying to bask in that limelight of having the title. And look, rightly so. I'm not gonna clown that man because I get it. When you got belts, you got to get your money while you got belts. Because I think he knows that he steps in the ring with Tyson Fury, there's a good chance he's leaving without belts. So you might want to go ahead and soak up that limelight while you can.
And I think they probably had like a return clause in their contract, I
Sure,
think.
sure.
And
Yeah.
Josh was exercising that. So we set the stage. Okay. So I laid out his resume. Okay. The man got a stellar resume. He undefeated, y'all. Okay. He undefeated. Brother and real ones throughout the world that love the fight game. Do you think there's a chance that Tyson Fury can surpass Muhammad Ali as the GOAT heavyweight? If so, what does he have to do? What else would he have to add to that resume before you say, okay, all right, I'm gonna start considering this man.
Here's what I have started doing, America and brother. I have I have allowed myself to say you were wrong about Tyson Fury. Um, And it was all visuals, man. When you see Tyson Fury, he doesn't look like what you expect a typical heavyweight all-time great to look like. Let's just be real, man. Tyson Fury is flabby, man. He is flabby. He is awkward looking. In the ring, he's long and yes, it feels weird to be, talking about, this guy's body, but in boxing, that's really what you kind of go off of in terms of like the look of what makes a superior athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Long, lean muscle. Well, he's not a muscular guy. Let me tell you what he is. He's a superb boxer. When it comes to the to the fight game, Tyson Fury is a top 10 heavyweight boxer.
Already. So you already put him in this all
Man,
time already? Okay.
man, today, and I was one of those guys where I was like, nah, no way. But it was just visual, man. It was I'll take that back. It was visual, but it was also, to me, Tyson Fury didn't have a list of opponents where I was like, oh, he beat that guy. Oh, he beat that guy. Well, now listen, if we hype up Deontay Wilder as a sport and we say, this is the bronze bomber, this is the one hitter quitter guy. If he can put that guy down in 3 fights, draw one, my brother says he wins it, and then in the next 2 clearly wins it, and the last one destroys the man.
Mm-hmm.
That's your who's who of what you need to have on your resume. And as he moves forward, as he is the true champion of the heavyweight division, guys have to come to him now. So he's going to get that resume builder as he continues to go. I don't know how long Tyson Fury wants to box. I don't know. But if he gets Usyk, if he gets Anthony Joshua, either one, that's another quality, good quality opponent on his resume that he's going to beat. Because I just feel that there's nobody who's coming down the chain, down the pipeline, who can beat Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Again, looks can be deceiving. And I know my brother will agree with me on this. Tyson Fury is one of the best heavyweight boxers we've ever seen. Like, when it just comes to the craft of boxing, the punching, the counter punching, the slipping, the nuances of the smarts of the fight
He's
game.
still now.
This guy is skilled as they come. It just doesn't look like it. Me personally, I'm never gonna be able to say he's the greatest of all time because y'all see what's behind me, man. Let me come on.
Oh, you got 2 of them over there.
Come on, man. I'm never gonna be able to have that conversation. Let me fix this while we're doing this, America.
Right.
This is a real show, so I'm never gonna be able to do that part. But what I can say is I can look at Tyson Fury and say his name deserves to be in the conversation with the Lennox Lewises, with the Joe Lewises, with the Muhammad Ali's, with the George Foremans, with the Joe Frazier's, with the Mike Tysons even. He deserves that when we talk about the all-time greats, the Evander Holyfields of the world, we need to start talking Tyson Fury too.
Mm-hmm.
That guy deserves it, man. His 31-0-1 record is nothing to sniff at. This guy was in a mental state and honestly an addiction state where he really could have stepped away and we wouldn't have got a chance to see this version of Tyson Fury. That's very important. Mm-hmm. We could have missed out on one of the all-time great heavyweights of all time. So we have to look at that, appreciate that for what it is, man. Don't look at him like I did when he first came in, a loudmouth who I thought was out of shape and flabby. Look at him for what he is doing for real. Laying hands on grown men. Deontay Wilder and any other night in the ring is not going to get hands put on him like that because he's probably going to be the bigger guy. Mm-hmm. We've seen him lay down huge men, and he just could not lay down Tyson Fury like that. He put him down, but Tyson Fury is 6'9", and every given night's 260 when he walks into the ring. So you're not going to keep him down. He's got that. He's got an amazing chin. He got all kind of heart. He got dog in him. Like he is the complete.
He does have a little dog in him. That is true.
He's the complete package.
Yeah.
So, man, no, he cannot surpass Muhammad Ali as GOAT, but brother, he's a top 10 boxer today.
Okay, that's fair take. While you were talking, I was just over here kind of making a list. All these guys I've studied. Okay. The first 6 guys I'm gonna say to you, the first 5 I'll say, I've watched all of their fights that are available to me.
Okay.
That's Ali, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Larry Holmes, George Foreman.
Yeah.
Every fight that's on this internet, I go look up their fight record.
Yep. Just match it up.
And just start to go. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. If it's on there, I'm watching it. Okay. All these guys incredible. I cannot give Tyson Fury over these guys that I just named so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I get into some guys, Lennox, Evander Holyfield. I'm not there yet. I gotta study them, but they beat a guy who I have watched all his fights, Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So those 8 guys right there. But then do I have to put the Klitschko's in, one of the more dominant Klitschko in there somewhere?
Sure.
The old heads might tell me that's they one. I got to put Rocky Marciano somewhere. Are they gonna get at me about Rocky Marciano?
Right.
Who else am I leaving off, brother? That's in this consideration that like before Tyson can get up here to Ali.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure he get all these boys out the way.
Run through these guys. Now, I get it.
I ain't got Joe Frazier.
No Joe Frazier. What? No Jack Dempsey if you want to go far back like that. Like it's
them old heads, yeah. Now
it's a lot of guys.
I personally deduct points from Jack Dempsey because I know once he was champion, they said like he wouldn't give a black man a chance at the title. Now I don't know in his ascension. I need to study Jack just to see how deep that stuff got with him. You know what I'm saying? So I do deduct points for that. But you're right. Old head's gonna give me Jack Dempsey.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, for instance, loves Jack Dempsey.
Yes, he does.
Okay. So there's a lot of names out here, but that's why I wanted to ask you this question because I'm wondering: Are we getting caught up in boxing nostalgia in these names and overlooking what the new guy is doing? The new guy is undefeated. He's 6'9". He weighs more than everybody on this list. Maybe 40-year-old George Foreman was up there because he was pretty stout then.
Yeah.
In the prime George Foreman, I think like 220 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you know the George Foreman that upset
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
Yeah.
He was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But Tyson Fury is a huge man. Okay?
Huge human being.
And he's a boxer.
Yeah.
He's a boxer. Like, trying to think George Foreman wasn't no boxer like Tyson Fury.
And I keep going back to as slick as a boxer is and as accurate of a puncher as he is, he still knocked out Deontay Wilder. And I'm not talking about like an accumulation of punches. He was hitting that man with violent punches.
Okay, so that's a quality win. Let's look at quality wins. So you got Deontay.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got three wins over him. But
sure.
Okay. And you got the Klitschko win.
Yep.
Does he have any other quality wins?
I mean, he beat 2 guys in Otto Whalen and Tom Schwartz. Those guys were undefeated when they fought him, but that's what I mean by like I don't know who those guys are. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe that's my fault that I don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. But to me, like outside of Klitschko and Wilder, there isn't a who's who of fighters. Now, just because they're not who's who doesn't mean Tyson Fury isn't a great fighter. That's kind of what I'm getting at. You can only fight who you can agree to fight. Mm-hmm. Especially in today's age. You can only fight who you can get to agree to fight. Mm-hmm. That's what Bud Crawford is going through. So if we penalize Bud Crawford after his career is over because he doesn't have 10 Hall of Famers on his docket, well, that's not his fault. That's because guys ducked and dodged him. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be the same thing with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, if he's able to get Usyk to fight and dispose of him, I don't know if Anthony Joshua wants to come and fight him, but that would help him after our generation is long and gone because we know who he is, but sometimes resumes help people understand how great somebody is, right? So he needs that in order to remain in the GOAT conversation of heavyweights. Like I said, I'm just over penalizing him for appearance. I've seen enough in fighting against Deontay Wilder and Vladimir Klitschko to say, yeah, this dude's for real. This dude's for real. I've seen him put on enough hands, his showmanship, his ring generalship, all of those things that put an all-time great in that category. I have seen enough. And what the last thing was that I needed to see was him go down on the canvas against a hard hitter like Deontay Wilder and take those hits and get right back up and dish out more punishment. We saw him go down and draw and get back up at the end of the fight. Not talking about that. I'm talking about when those guys were literally throwing bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And he took a shot where I'm like, oh, is he going to get up? Got up and then delivered. That's one of the best fights I've ever seen, period.
Okay, so I'm saying, so he does have that classic.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's one of the best fights I've ever seen. And he came out on top against the bronze bomber.
Okay, so let's stay right there real quick. Let's stay right there. And I'm looking at guys who has won a classic. Ali has won several classics.
Indeed.
Okay, let me answer the question. First of all, Tyson can't surpass him right now for me. I don't know if he ever will be able to. Okay,
it's tough.
Not only because of my love Ali, this man was a part of two of the greatest upsets in heavyweight history,
no doubt,
by him beating Sonny Liston and him beating George Foreman. So he got two of the most shocking wins in heavyweight history on his resume. He has two classic trilogies, two classic trilogies with Joe Frazier, but also with Ken Norton.
Ken Norton, that's
okay?
right.
That's insane. His fight record is a who's who list of fighters from, like I said, Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson,
all the way through.
Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, George Foreman. Ernest Shea was one of the hardest hitters of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He got like a who's who of guys that he whooped, and then on the back end of his career, the man was still winning fights with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Folks can say what they want. It wasn't set in. Yeah, whoa.
It was.
That man was out there fighting with Parkinson's, bro.
Yep.
Okay. So now he can't just stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
The Ali era was crazy. Okay. And he got classic wins.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Johnson. Okay, he made history. That's his classic. He's the first black heavyweight champion. Okay. Joe Louis got classic win. Max Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Holmes, classic win over Norton.
Mm-hmm.
George Foreman, down goes Frazier, classic win. Lennox, do you give him that Mike Tyson, or do you think Mike Tyson too far gone to give him that as a classic win?
I mean, I guess
gotta give him that.
I guess it's a notable win because that's probably the last time somebody ever looked at Mike Tyson in a real sense. Me and you will look at Mike Tyson and say he's dangerous, but that's the first time one of his contemporaries looked at him, and that was the last time that he was considered dangerous in the ring to somebody of equal or greater caliber.
All right, so Evander over Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did Evander do? Did Evander beat Lewis?
I don't know. I know he had a really great fight with Riddick Bowe.
That's classic. That's classic. That's right.
Classic. That's a classic fight.
I don't know if Mike Tyson has a classic win though, bro.
Yeah.
I can't give Tyson the Larry Holmes one. I think Larry Holmes was, even though Larry Holmes kept fighting, I think until like in the 2000s, which is insane to me.
Exactly.
But Larry Holmes was not the Larry Holmes of the 70s or even early 80s.
No.
So I don't know if Mike Tyson got like a classic win. When he went against the guys, and I love Mike, you know. So can Tyson Fury come get his namesake? He stays undefeated. Can he take his namesake down a peg?
He can. Because at the end of the day, if you're serious about being respectful to that sport and rightfully putting guys in the spot, then when it comes to being on the greatest of stage, Tyson Fury, when the lights came on and brightest, he beat the guys. Evander beat Mike Tyson. Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson.
Okay.
And the guys that Tyson beat on the brightest of stage, they really didn't deserve to be in the ring with Mike. You know what I mean? Like,
so you know, a detractor may say then Tyson is not facing anybody the caliber of Evander and Lennox.
agree.
But then that calls into, okay, what y'all trying to say about Vladimir then? Are you trying to say Klitschko ain't what Lewis?
Right.
Like, you get into a whole lot of stuff. What are you really trying to say about Wilder? Now, I know a lot of boxing purists don't really fool Wilder like that because he was a football guy, just turned boxer. Ain't like he, you know, came up through
he didn't grow up through the silver gloves and golden gloves and things like that.
You know, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? It's intriguing, bro.
It is.
If he's not top 10, now I think he got a shot. It just depends on how traditional you are. Yeah. Because I'm stopping at 8, but I know a lot of these boxing magazines we be copping, dog, and these websites, they gonna have Marciano on this list.
Yes, they are. They're gonna have Dempsey on that list.
They're gonna have Dempsey on this list.
Yeah.
That's 10 right there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
I just think, you know, I'm willing to put him in there now because again, that's no disrespect to Jack Dempsey and Rocky Marciano. I'm sure those guys were great, but that's a different.
Joe Frazier. Again, I forgot about Joe Frazier.
Yeah, Joe Frazier.
Oh, let me update that because I love Joe Frazier. I think Joe Frazier has some of the greatest heart.
No question. No question.
But I might be being biased too, though, because what? Oh, I was about to say something idiotic. I was about to say what classic win he got. Like this man ain't win the fight of the century.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We won the fight of the century. You know what I'm saying?
Now Joe Frazier gets overlooked a lot just simply because he did not get the majority of the trilogy, and he just happened to take a backseat to the GOAT in so many different ways.
And I think that George Foreman
hurt him too.
The way George Foreman just destroyed him.
Yeah, that one hurt him too.
Hurt him a lot. But Joe Frazier. So that's 9 guys I got on my list. But it's kind of like what folks do. Okay, when people discussing the Bible and people like, well, what's up with the updated version? Like, don't we have prophets amongst us today? Do we have some guys who are really giving us some good thought today? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, we treat the boxing list really on some biblical stuff. Like, it's set in stone. These are the guys.
It's facts.
And we don't, especially with the heavyweights. I don't know, bro. He gonna have to stay undefeated.
He's got to stay undefeated.
He gonna have to unify all the belts, and he still ain't gonna surpass Ali in people's eyes.
Nah,
he got to do all that just to get in this top 10, I think.
And yeah, he's gonna have to close out strong because unfortunately, the heavyweight division is not what it was back then, where that was the golden age.
So folks gonna dock him for that.
Yeah, all the way through Tyson and Lennox Lewis, and even the first Vitaly Klitschko. So when you see that, the caliber of opponents, where you had 5 or 6 other Hall of Famers with you, Tyson Fury, I'm talking, is not afforded that luxury. So he's got to pretty much run the table for the rest of his career. I think he can do that too, by the way, but he's got to be able to run the table for the rest of his career to be in there. By the way, while we're talking Joe Frazier, I just want to be sure people understand what my brother's speaking to, how great this man was and why he should probably be in people's top 10. Joe Frazier only had 4 losses in his career. 2 to Ali, 2 to George Foreman. So
that's it.
You know, come on, man.
With one arm, he left hooking you to sleep.
Come on, man. Like, we at this point, we're talking the greatest of all time, and at that point, the hardest hitter, most feared boxer of all time.
Ali didn't take a return bout with him, and I don't know why. I've been trying to find out.
I know why. I mean, we're gonna be real about it. You don't want to go in there and try to rope-a-dope George Foreman again, and understand that he probably got smarter the second time around.
George Foreman, bad man, cuz.
Bad
man, bro.
So for Joe Frazier to only have losses against Foreman and Ali, yeah, he's an all-time great as well. He's a top 10 boxer, no doubt.
So it's tough, dog. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I would love to see. which I have to say, fight fans, real ones, are down with the fight game, which is, I call football the ultimate team sport, but I think boxing is the ultimate, most pure sport. Okay, hand to hand, it's the most relatable sport to me.
It's the most relatable sport, but my man Terrence Bud Crawford said it best.
Don't play.
You don't play boxing.
Don't play it.
You can play basketball and football and all those other
And
sports.
MMA is up there too. But MMA
too.
is just not as relatable because I don't know how to do a rear naked chokehold or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do none of that.
Yeah.
Every man, one time in their life, have an opportunity to put hands on somebody. Okay.
Crawford, baby.
So Tyson Fury is an all-time great. I'm gonna give him that right now.
Yes,
the
sir.
man can box.
Yes, sir.
That man can box.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna take a boxer to knock him off. Deontay did pretty good in his last fight.
Yeah.
Because somebody told him to box a little more. When he was sticking with his jabbing that man to the body, he looked better. When he got away from that, you saw what
you saw the results.
Usyk, I like what I saw from Usyk. Usyk has some boxing skills. Joshua has some boxing skills. Joshua's courage is a little in question. Okay. Yeah. So as my brother said, this man, Tyson Fury, just might run the table. He might retire undefeated like Marciano, like Floyd.
And then what?
Put it on, sir.
My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit StatementTeesLLC.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.